Welcome to Shut Up Football. I'm Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. After 4 weeks of football, the Chiefs and the Vikings remain the only undefeated teams. I think it's safe to say that the Commanders finally hit on a quarterback with Jaden Daniels. 2 sophomore QBs were lost early and their teams won anyway. And the Jaguars are in deep doo-doo, as they remain the only team in the league that still doesn't have a win. It's time to look back at week 4 of the NFL season. It's time to go to New Jersey?
It was Dakota Prescott versus Danny Dimes, which is either ironic or an expression of his true value. If his name was Nick, I'd call him Nicholas Change. Actually, he only had 1 turnover on the day, and it only came when Drew fans were already at home in the garage with the engine running. CeeDee Lamb was flagged when he threw the ball at a defender's head. That's illegal? What if he catches it and throws it back like a father-son picnic in the park? Seems like the burden was on the defender. Rico Dowdle broke free for a touchdown, but there was a flag. Never mind. You saw nothing. They picked up the flag and packed it back wherever flags come from. Maybe nature's pocket. I guess the NFL scriptwriters had some last-minute revisions that ref number 213 wasn't privy to. This game was filthy with penalties. Al Michaels' patience was wearing thin.
Now what?
They should have flagged that cameraman for this shot of Mike McCarthy. Back him up 10 to 15 yards. We don't need to see the beef sweats in 8K. Wait for it. Peekaboo! Post Malone was on hand. He's a fan of the Cowboys and reducing landfill waste. Compost Malone. He's got a face only a sketchbook could love. He looks like he fell asleep at a prison frat party. The Giants stayed in this game thanks to 5 Greg Joseph field goals. If only they could have scored just 1 touchdown. But that's like expecting Stephen Hawking to give you a standing ovation. Because he's dead. Whoa. There's an actual cowboy on the sidelines? A business cowboy, but still. Someone's gotta keep the chap's budget on point. This is like finding out Chicago has an actual bear, or Cleveland has whatever a brown is. I assume some kind of DEI thing. This game was a war of attrition. The body count was heavy. DeMarcus Lawrence was sidelined. Malik Neighbors was sent camping. And Micah Parsons got a free ride. High five. 2. Close enough. Andy Dalton was the new face of the franchise. And I assume pumpkin spice. When did they shoot this? Has it been in a drawer in Bob's desk since July? The Bengals were in a hole to start the season. They needed a win. And Joe Burrow needed a snack. They rode Chase Brown and Zach Moss like the disposables they are, and cashed in on 3 scores. Chuba Hubbard had a Bucky Hundo, which is what they're calling it on the streets. He got a touchdown too. How many Panthers does it take to screw in a light bulb? If it's anything like tackling Jamar Chase, I'd say 1, 2, 3. More than 3. Xavier Legette got his first pro touchdown. Someone teach this man to dance. The Panthers faked a punt, and it was absolutely perfect until Philippe Franks dropped it. Oh, Philippe. It's back to the jugs machine for you, which is absolutely misleading for what it is. No play was more emblematic of the Bengals' early season habits than when Joe Burrow ran in a circle, only to pick up a first down. Why can't the Bengals win until it's fall? Is Zach Taylor fueled by corn mazes and hay rides? He looks like it. It was early in the game when Rashid Shaheed got a visit from Little Miss Muffin Punts. Oh my god, what the hell was that? She looks different. Taysom Hill had 2 touchdowns. He's an army of 1. He left injured. Too many bones or something. Derek Carr's pass was deflected, and Troy Anderson ran it all the way back. He's a playmaker who refuses to brush his teeth. Oh! Alvin Kamara crammed one in to put the Saints up late. Young Wei Koo had a chance to win it with a 58-yard field goal. He nailed it! The Young Ways must love him! Celebrate this man! Give him a stamp! Empty the benches and your bladders! Another game, another early visit from Little Miss Muffin Punts! Sweet sangria! I'm having trouble digesting this. Go away. Please go away. Trevor Lawrence took advantage and found Brian Thomas Jr. for a score. He worked him like a rented mule. Stephon Diggs took a handoff. Then he took the play and scrapped it. Now that's recycling. Nico Collins had over 100 yards and grabbed his 2nd touchdown of the season. Nico Suave. The Jags had the lead, but they dropped this one late after Daria Gumbawale got the game-winning touchdown. The Jaguars remain a factory of sadness. Their games are like a Doug Peterson hat. Incomplete. They started with a fun video that suddenly took a turn with Aaron Rodgers' get off my lawn vibes. It was raining men and causing chaos. Garrett Wilson fumbled, but he wasn't the only one. The ball slipped out of Rodgers' hand, and he was back on the bench sipping gut milk. The Broncos said everyone around Bo Nix had to be perfect, so he could do this. Don't blame the Sky PP. They gave Bo Nix a fanny pack. It was filled with extra batteries and a Cliff Bar. You never know when you're gonna take the family to Disney in the middle of a football game. And then, almost as if by accident, Bo Nix threw his first pro touchdown. Rodgers responded by bottling his giant invisible breasts. This game had 15 punts and 6 field goal attempts.
Punt, 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 fumble, punt, punt, punt.
Of course I won't show them all to you. I'll only show you most of them as I read an actual Amazon review for this burrito tortilla blanket.
This blanket was perfect. Even came with a free eye mask, which, wow, 10 out of 10. However, the design was quite as detailed as it appears. However, both sides have the print, and it's so soft. Like, to the point I want to curl up and never leave. Would totes recommend getting one if you want a tortilla blanket. I love it, besides a small lack in detail.
Bo Nix didn't even top 60 yards passing, but at least Aaron Rodgers stumbled into his next great invention, portable darkness retreats. Jordan Love was back, but he wasn't 100%, so the Packers only threw 54 times. Take that, injured leg. He was picked off 3 times. I guess the Packers' conservative game plan was on the bench next to Malik Willis. Then again, it didn't help that their defense couldn't stop Sam Darnold from stealing their lunches. He threw 3 touchdowns. The Vikings receivers spent the pregame in a jacuzzi of lube. The DBs would have had better luck covering the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. 0 journalistic skills. At one point, the Pack was down 28-0. Coach LaFleur tried to inspire his team by mixing meds. Oh God, not again. No. Why? The announcers and Ness made some startling accusations.
Pickens with a snatch. Michael Pittman with a snatch.
You don't know that for sure. Bathroom time is alone time. Anthony Richardson broke free on a big run, but he was injured. It was Joe Flacco time. Except that it wasn't, because Anthony Richardson was back on the next play. I guess he's fine as long as they don't immediately run on the next play. And he's dead. They said he was questionable to return. Are you sure? Maybe they want to fire him out of a cannon into a wall a few times. This man leaves it all on the field, and by it, I mean his internal organs. Take a knee while you still have some, Tony. George Pickens fumbled after he proved he could catch ball, but he can't hold ball. Justin Fields had a big day. Over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Steelers fans were swinging their urine-soaked towels. He also fumbled twice. You buttery bitch! Someone rubbed some sourdough on him. Justin Fields played the game of his life. Kind of sad that the next time his life flashes before his eyes, he has to watch a game in which he lost. This game had a heavy ground presence. Thanks, gravity. Matthew Stafford flipped a pass like he was tossing his car keys to a valet. Some uppity shit, Stafford. Just hand it to him. He's a man, too. Later, Stafford threw an interception, except it wasn't. Jaquan Brisker stepped out of bounds first, meaning something about feet, and it was overturned. I wasn't aware of a rule that requires 2 feet. Pretty exclusionary. I guess piss off, little pirates with dreams. Caleb Williams and Matthew Stafford took turns fumbling for charity. Is that a thing? It oughta be. High five! Nope, that's my face. Dallas Goedert looks like a runner-up in a Mr. Homeless America pageant. The Eagles look like hot trash in the Florida sun. Jalen Hurts had a wide-open Saquon Barkley, but he decided to complete a pass to the bench instead. Baker Mayfield had nearly 350 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tom Brady wouldn't shut up about Chris Godwin.
Godwin's too strong. He's just so strong inside, and they're so strong.
You want to be alone, Tom? Maybe you, an 8x10 of Chris, and a rain slicker? Brady threw some shade at Baker Mayfield. Eat shit, Tom. You never had to play for the Browns. The Eagles were botching punts like hotcakes, banging into each other like blind men in an orgy. Jalen Hurts got another brotherly shove. Not very impressive when the only play you can run effectively is a pile. Hurts was sacked 6 times and fumbled twice. He said he has to play better. He can't hold onto the ball, but at least he's got a grasp of the obvious. Ramondre Stevenson lost another fumble, and the Niners held a dance party, which sounds fun until George Kittle wants to play spin the bottle. I'll take him in fantasy all day, but I'm not changing my lifestyle for a guy with resting trailer park face. Jacoby Brissett said he prides himself on always getting back up. Counterpoint, being able to grip a cup when you're 50. He was sacked another 6 times. Brock Purdy caught a whiff of some pheromones and followed a cameraman home. He sleeps in a box with a blanket now. Brissett was picked off by Fred Warner. He took it all the way back. The defense celebrated by being out of sync, and Fred Warner began his side quest to solve the mystery of who farted. There was even a football game in here somewhere, and it ended with a montage from a Lifetime movie. The Washington Dance Commanders just bodied the Cardinals. Jaden Daniels led the way with another 2 touchdowns. He's got the highest completion percentage in NFL history. They asked, is there nothing he can't do? From the looks of it, carbs. The Cardinals peaked on their first drive, and after, it was a collage of Commander touchdowns. Jeremy McNichols rushed for nearly 70 yards and scored 2 touchdowns. Scramble to your waiver wires. Was this a Cliff Kingsbury revenge game, or simply a case of being led by a quarterback who can see over the steering wheel? Who wants ice cream? Thank you, Dan. You can put your hand down now. Carson Steele lost another fumble, and soon after, he disappeared like a fart in a hurricane. Kareem Hunt returned to lead the Chiefs in rushing. He's so good. Why did they ever let him go?
Assaulting a woman.
Thanks, Jim. Lad McConkey scored a touchdown by the hairs of his shin. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz have an unspoken understanding that when one says Quentin Johnston's nickname, the other must follow.
Outstanding there by Q Money.
Q money.
Justin Herbert had a tough day. The Chiefs defenders were like a prom date. There were hands everywhere. Stop drawing on the play while it's live.
You gotta protect the middle here and then the flats.
Dude! It was chest hair versus molest hair. It almost worked. Deshaun Watson came out firing, but it wasn't always staying in receivers' hands. Amari Cooper coughed up the ball in the middle of 5 defenders. Jim Schwartz looks like a guy who's aggressively cocky about a recent tanning bed purchase. Yo! Bongos! The Raiders punter had a big-time kick, but his celebration stole the show. This is how I celebrate everything from now on. 2 for 1 at the grocery store. Wah. An inter-office memo received a thumbs up from a coworker. Wah. Deshaun Watson smothered and covered like a Denny's breakfast. Wah. If the Bills have a weakness, it's gigantic men built like horses, who run like other horses. Derrick Henry shredded this defense like aged Parmesan. 199 yards rushing, 200 if you squint. In fact, the Ravens scored 5 touchdowns, and not one went to a receiver. It was like they went to a buffet, but only 3 people ate. Josh Allen had 0 touchdowns. There was a moratorium on dancing. Everyone just sit and stare until we figure this out. Will Levis started this game with a delightful change of pace. Emmanuel Ogbah intercepted him between his legs. Thigh master. Sadly, Levis never had a chance to redeem himself after he injured his shoulder and had to come out. Bad news. Unless you're Mason Rudolph, the Titans wide receivers, the defense, the running backs, and whoever the head coach is, no one knows. It's a total mystery. Will Levis said he wanted to play, but his face said, "Aah!" Instead, you got Monday Night Football featuring Mason Rudolph and Tyler Huntley. This game had 10 punts, 7 field goals, and if you think I won't show them all, then you don't know this channel at all. I'll be using this time to promote the 2018 film Velocipaster, of which I am not affiliated. After losing his parents, a priest travels to China, where he inherits the mysterious ability that allows him to turn into a dinosaur. At first horrified by this new power, a hooker convinces him to use it to fight crime and ninjas. And yes, I've seen it, and yes, it's horrible. ESPN showed us a better game, daring us not to switch. Someone brought a crutch to support whatever Miami Dolphin was injured this week. The Dolphins snapped a bad ball at Tyler Huntley's nuts, and you could see it on Mike McDaniel's face. I'm missing Dungeons and Dragons for this shit? The Titans special teams did not seem to understand the rules of the game, for which they are paid money to play, and their coach noticed. It didn't matter. The Titans won. It was a huge win for Mason Rudolph and his chin. Kenneth Walker III had 3 touchdowns, 1 for each third. And on one play, he ninja flipped over Alex Anzalone like a goddamn Power Ranger. The Lions' ground game was humming too. David Montgomery couldn't be brought down. He wouldn't even sit on the bench. It was weird for everyone. Jahmyr Gibbs scored 2 touchdowns.
Mike, we know you're shorthanded tonight, but what's been the biggest challenge for your defense?
Draymond Jones. We forgot him in Seattle, and we have no clue where he is.
Jared Goff threw 2 touchdowns, but his most impressive was the one he caught from Amon-Ra St. Brown. My favorite part is when the Lion magically appears like a jack-in-the-box. I once had a jack-in-the-box. I can never work for UPS again. Troy Aikman's brain snapped clean in half.
They hit between the tackles, and then you get behind, your left tackle.
You think darkness is your ally, but you merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Amon-Ra St. Brown scored a touchdown, but nobody wanted to call it. Lift your arms, ref. Don't just stare at him. You didn't have a problem when you forced everyone to watch you dance like an Egyptian. Jared Goff was perfect on the night. He went 18 of 18 for an NFL record. After the game, he read a choose-your-own-adventure book and made every right choice. Play the lottery, Jared. You're on fire!
And now the soft pretzel of the week.
Yummy.
This week, the pretzel goes to Zach Wilson. We beat up pretty hard on Zach last year, which was all in good fun. Truth is, I was actually a Zach Wilson believer when he came out of BYU, but then the Jets rolled him and smoked him like an old piece of bologna. Sam Darnold's recent resurgence with the Vikings, though, got me thinking. Geno Smith, Sam Darnold, Snake Plissken, all escaped from New York and all went on to find great success. So in 5 years, who knows? Wilson could be flipping houses on HGTV or leading another NFL franchise. You hear me, Zach? Your story's not over yet. I hope he bangs every mom in America. Thank you so much for watching Shut Up Football. We do appreciate it. Please leave your comments below. Say hi to your mom for me, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
You buttery bitch!